asthma, allergy, skin allergy, rhinitis, nangangate yung skin, or merong intolerance sa chicken, eggs, and nuts, seafood. Yun yung mga common salarin whenever we talk about allergies sa kids. And I know a lot of people na merong mga anak at yung problema nga nila is yung hindi mawala-walang allergy sa kanilang mga baby. Yung mga mommies na yon, and even those kids are already well aware kung ano-ano yung mga antihistamines. Cetirizine yung pinaka-famous sa kanila. And sometimes, hindi na rin maganda because sometimes nakadepend na lang sa gamot. But what if I tell you na yung allergies ng iyong anak pwedeng mawala at hindi nila kailangang umiwas sa lahat ng pagkain? Especially the nutrient-dense foods, which is eggs, seafoods, even nuts and chicken. Yun ay nutritious foods. However, yung tolerance nila sa nutritious foods will never be that high. So, very low yung kanilang tolerance. Kakaunting kain lang nito, nag-elicit na agad ng allergic response. Yun yung tawag nating hypersensitivity response. And for the longest time, akala natin kailangan lang natin silang iwasan. But then you can see na kahit pa iniiwasan natin yung mga common allergens na yon, hindi pa rin ganon ka nai-improve yung kanilang allergies. Yung skin nila, kahit gano'n na yung pag-take care ninyo, gano'n na kamahal yung mga lotion, kahit hypoallergenic na yung soap, yung shampoo, still meron pa rin rashes, hindi pa rin mawawala. And it is because, in the first place, yung inflammatory level ng inyong anak, ng katawan ng inyong anak, is actually very high. It's already very inflamed. And we've been looking at the wrong foods. Hindi lang po yung pagkain ng mga common allergens like fish, seafood, and eggs, and chicken. Hindi lang sila yung common allergens. We now know that allergies actually starts with eating the highly inflammatory foods. Number one on the list would be sugar and starch. So, thank you very much for watching and for the stars that you give. Maraming salamat po. So, number one food, hulaan natin yung mga snacks ng mga batang may allergies. Yung snacks nila, sandwich. Meron bang sandwich made up of bread, white bread? Kung hindi man, bumibili kayo ng muffins. Kung hindi man yung mga nakapack, yung ready to eat na mga muffins o yung mga cookies na nakapakete na. We know those are processed but still binibigay natin kasi yun nga yung madaling ibigay. And also, minsan akala natin if we make our own cookies, like kayo mismo magluluto, kayo mismo magbe-bake, we already consider that as healthy. Pero we now see that if the ingredients is still inflammatory, you are still using white flour, you are still using cornstarch, a lot of cornstarch, you are still using shortening. So, yun yung bad kind of oil. Instead of butter, you are using margarine. So, yun mga ingredients na yun, that can lead into high degree of inflammation sa katawan. What else? Yung drinks. Ano yung common drink sa mga bata? Chucky, or di kaya yung mga nakapakete, fruit juices, naka-label as natural fruit juice. Yes, they may be natural fruit juice, but they are all loaded with fructose. And fructose is highly inflammatory. Nakaka-cause yan ng problems with our liver and it can cause insulin resistance. Hindi na po uncommon na may mga bata ngayon na insulin resistant na din. Nagkakaroon sila ng paglaki ng kanilang weight, malaki yung tiyan, and then nangingitim yung kanilang batok, nangingitim yung kanilang creases sa kanilang katawan. It's because they are already insulin insensitive. Meron din silang insulin resistance, especially that we are exposing them to a lot of sugar. Yung ibang mga bata, hindi kumakain ng ganitong snack. So, wala silang mga bread, hindi sila mahilig din sa matatamis because the parents are already somewhat conscious sa kanilang kinakain, sa kanilang sugar intake. But, what are they eating more? Rice, kanin. So, too much sugar is still found when one is eating too much rice. Kasi, as what we've discussed this morning, ang ating rice ay starch, at ang rice na starch kapag na breakdown na sa ating katawan, it will still become glucose. So I know that very well kasi ako mismo meron din pong allergic rhinitis noon. Nagme-maintain ako ng steroid spray for my rhinitis, nagme-maintain ako ng antihistamine on a day-to-day basis, and yet hindi pa rin ito mawala-wala. And this is now because we now understand that sugar is the real culprit. So nandito ako ngayon with my friend and my driver and my kadate for today, Nikki Cole. Meron ba tayong i-greet?
Shout out Boss Joe and Sir Louie. Hello.
Hello po, Boss Joe and Sir Louie. Thank you so much for always following the page and sharing to your friends and family. And sa iyong mama, uy,
Mommy, Ma.
Tita Marisa, thank you so much. And of course, sa imong husband, si Nitoy, and sa imong baby nga si Maeve. So hello, salamat kayo. Inyong gipahuam na ko inyong mami. Thank you. So nangaon mi karon. So for the water, I chose a mineral water na sparkling water because it will satisfy me. Hindi na ako naghahanap ng soft drink. So, ito lang. So, the sparkly ones. So, yung parang nakaka-burp. The carbon in carbonated drinks like sparkling water, it can actually give you some degree of satisfaction. So, since it's not a fasting time, so it's a feasting window, so pwede lang kumain. We already ate. Nakita nyo kanina yung kinain namin. And we are now snacking. I think pang closing na namin to. Wala na kaming kakainin pa after. So we chose, this is mozzarella.
Yeah.
So mozzarella sticks. So we know that cheese are in our caution list. So paminsan-minsan lang. Okay? And also fish. So fish and cheese. So eto yung fish. Meron lang breading, but it's medyo maliit lang naman yung breading. So you can accommodate that from time to time. But of course, if you are still healing, if you still need to work on your inflammation, lower down your blood pressure, lower down your allergies, especially when eating outside, you will never know kung ano yung oil na ginagamit nila. So try to avoid as much as you can, and try to eat the ones in your own home. So sa mga mommies dyan, better make sure that you are using safe oils, coconut oil. Okay? Kung magluluto man, coconut oil is very abundant in the Philippines at pwedeng-pwede nyo yung gawin. So, kung ang mga kinakain ng anak nyo is usually biscuits, usually crackers, sandwiches, puro tinapay, at kung makakain ng rice kapag main meal, kakaunti lang yung kaniyang kinakaing ulam, at puro kanin lang, and kung gusto nyong tulungan talaga ang inyong anak in a sustainable way, try to start them eating or try to experiment. Kung ayaw nyo maniwala, you can just do a 3 days experiment na walang carbs, walang rice, walang sugar. And one thing also, especially sa young children, na nakakapag-spike talaga ng kanilang inflammation are their powdered drinks, powdered milk. Kasi yung mga milk ng mga bata ngayon, it's 50 to 60% made up of sugar. So there's no alternative really. The best way is to just remove the milk altogether. After 6 months, after 1 year old, kung hindi na siya nag-breastfeed sa inyo, or after 4 years old, kung kailan nyo man siya i-win sa yung breastfeeding, the moment that you are no longer breastfeeding your children, you can just remove milk altogether and start them with real food. Merong enzyme, ready na yung tiyan ng katawan ng anak ninyo to digest proteins, to digest good fats. Because when it comes to growth, when it comes to development of children, mas importante yung healthy proteins and healthy fats for their development, especially their brain. It will not give them the boost. Their potential might not be achieved, yung 100% potential nila, if you are not providing them with the basic needs na magsusupply ng kanilang pangangailangan, which is proteins and meat. So, huwag matakot sa seafood, huwag matakot sa isda, huwag matakot sa karne, huwag matakot sa baboy, especially if they're organic, especially if they're grass-fed at hindi nakadepend sa grains and a lot of hormones, injections, antibiotics. The more organic, the better. The best way for that is to have a supplier na pwede nyo talagang pagkatiwalaan. But I understand, kung limited man, it's okay. As long as you avoid lang muna yung mga major carbs. So, major carbs, all the sweets, all the sugary stuff, all the desserts, replace it with real food. So, pwedeng gawing snacks ang chicken breast. Like, you can cut real chicken breast and you can make your own chicken fillet, like nuggets, chicken nuggets. But hindi yung process, but kayo yung mismo yung gumawa at walang halong flour. So, real, pure chicken breast might be your best bet when it comes to snacks. Also, you can add in some from time to time instead of like milk, na mga processed milk. The better form of dairy would be the fermented ones. So, cheese, pwede yan, paminsan-minsan, and yogurt. And speaking of yogurt, we actually ordered a drink here na low-carb smoothie. Sana lang low-carb, pero they are using lots of syrup. But what's good in this restaurant, it's the first time, no, since we made live videos on food. Diba, usually when you order coffee, they provide here brown sugar, white sugar, and cream. And this one, at least I think this one is already a sign that we are becoming mainstream. So they already have stevia. So, and this kind of stevia is stevia and erythritol. So it's good news. So kahit pa yung caution list yan, yung mga sweeteners na yan, but still the fact that it's already being made available sa mga normal restaurants is already a win for us kasi meron ng option. So, kung magkakape man, at least meron ng option or parang feeling mo magde-dessert ka na din. So, when it comes to snacks of your children, actually, yung snacking hindi talaga yan healthy because if you eat only right during the proper meal time, like lunch or dinner or breakfast, kapag tama yung kinakain ninyo, less carbohydrates, your need for snacks is also less. Hindi siya ganon ka-requirement. Eating just 2 meals, 3 meals, 3 major meals for children a day is already good enough. Hindi kailangan ng snacks. Yung nangangailangan ng snacks are those people who are not eating right in the first place during their mealtime. So mostly kakaunti lang yung protein and sobrang daming carbohydrates. So thank you so much. Yun lang muna. We will talk more about that in the coming days. For now, I'll enjoy my day with my friend Nikki Cole. And hi to our friends, si Journey Joyce, si Angelica, si Cha, si Precious, si Laura, si Erica, kinsa pa? Maura. And sa ilang tanang pamilya. So, thank you everybody. Cheers! Cheers! Thank you!